So we're live again, this time from a slightly different place in myself, and I intend to share some valuable information with the world by means of sharing my presence and blabbling some words that need not make sense to you or to me, but they might just as well. So the whole... The mouth isn't working. The most horrendous place to be is in a place of caring what other people think. And I personally have spent so much time in that place. And I'm so sick of that. Genuinely, honestly, totally done with that vibe. And I'm free to feel myself, and I know that I'm connected to something higher, something beyond myself, that at the same time is myself. And we cannot understand this. It's fucking confusing if you try. You better give up right away. But it seems to grant our wishes of being loved and real and perfect. And it seems to grant the realization that I already am perfect and you already are perfect exactly the way you are. And that all of this seeking nonsense is helpful and not helpful. It's helpful to seek oneself in order to know oneself, but in the end, the only thing that matters is to actually love who you are. And what does it look like to love yourself? It could look like sitting in front of a camera on YouTube and expressing your thoughts because you want to express them. It could look like steering in a different direction, taking a completely altered course in your life just because you decide right here, right now, that that is what you want to do. And it mostly looks like not being afraid of the consequences of what you do, of what you choose, and of what you create. It mostly looks like accepting that if you make a decision to express a certain way, if you make a decision to do something, to be a certain way, that you love it. That's really all it is. Just to love and trust whatever it is you're doing in each and every single moment of your life. And that's a freaky game for the mind, because the mind is occupied with contrasts. So it means it's always going to discern, is this wanted or unwanted? Desirable, undesirable, good, bad, black, white. And if we choose to actually love every single thing that we do, every single aspect of our expression, the consequences of every single choice that we make in life, then suddenly the mind is kind of lost. Because everything's fine. How could it be that everything always already was okay? That I can just, in each and every moment, decide that whatever I'm experiencing is actually fine. That it is just an experience. And I can let the experience move through me. And that's why we train ourselves spiritually by meditating, doing practices, and also eating the right food, waking up early, doing the good things to make yourself happy and keep yourself happy, because it builds a kind of resilience to be okay with what is happening. And essentially meditation is just that. It's not so complex, it's just sitting and accepting what is happening. Literally only that. You're just sitting with your eyes closed, and whatever experience is happening to you, you just let it. You refrain from the need to do anything about it. You don't need to move, you don't need to speak, you don't need to respond to your life circumstances when you're in meditation, you just sit. You're not trying to reach anywhere. You're not trying to get out of your body. You're just accepting the experience as it is. I accept. I don't do anything. I'm just here. And if that is all that we were ever supposed to learn in life, how our lives would change. If all we were supposed to learn is that whatever happens, it is fine. And this is the greater trajectory of evolving in consciousness. Because each time you accept that something is fine, some kind of wanted experience comes into your life. That's the nature of contrast, that's the nature of spirit evolving through a human vessel. If you want something, you're desiring something, there's always something in between you kind of need to win over. There's a little bit of a challenge to accept more of the unwanted, to tear your heart open and accept the experience as it is. And essentially, the experience of desiring something is already that contrast, because you don't have it. You're desiring something, so it feels the pain of not having it. And if you feel all the pain of not having it, then finally it can come into your life. So if you accept, just accept your experience. I accept my experience of not having the wanted. I accept my experience of feeling like I lack. I accept my experience of feeling like I'm not good enough. I accept my experience of wanting money, not having it, wanting to travel, not having it, wanting a girlfriend, not having it, wanting a partner, not having it, wanting friends, being lonely, whatever it is. I accept. Oh, I'm actually fine. I'm still alive. I'm still good. Sun is still shining, still breathing. I can still put food in my body if I have it. And I'm kind of still here. And suddenly that experience is just moving through me. It's just an experience, a frequency. An experience is something that we don't need to get stuck upon. It's not blocking us. It's not holding us back from being. It's not holding us back from being alive. And all experiences are bound to pass. So wherever you are in the story of contrasts, if you're enjoying the experience you're currently in, or if you absolutely hate it, if you can just let it pass, water down, you discover you're actually fine. And you're an open channel. And that is also what channeling means. The more and more you allow yourself to have any and all sorts of experiences, the more and more your consciousness expands and you open up. You quite literally become an embrace of the whole universe, because more and more aspects of this universe are allowed to enter your experience. More and more of the contrast is allowed to enter your experience, and the ultimate contrast is that of life and death. If we allow death to enter our experience, life happens. And it can feel a little bit shaky. It can feel shaky, to be honest, with what is real in this moment. Because it's not because an experience can move through us that it moves through us in a way that necessarily feels nice. So sometimes, or most of the times, there will be an attempt to run away from that experience. And then to turn oneself inward is the key of evolving. And it is funny because a part of me is completely sick about talking about spirituality and being occupied with this. And at the same time, it is the most interesting thing in the world because it includes everything. And mastery is something that evolves over time. It is a bit like a muscle to come back to your own self-understanding and acceptance of the experience you're currently in. But we need to train that muscle. We don't need to. We get to train that muscle because that's just the nature of life. That the larger we become, the larger experiences meet us within. And the more challenging. And every time there is something new to process and a new fruit to pluck, and our identity changes over time in this process. And the identity as a vessel for expansion is a very interesting concept. Because we can also create that. We can choose to surrender to life and let all the experiences happen to us and let them move through us. But we can also choose to change our way of thinking, to change our experience internally and take that into our hand. And then something strange happens, life responds to that, which shows that there is no actual distinction between the inner and the outer. There's always a meeting of however we uphold ourselves. And now I'm feeling into what is happening inside of myself to stay on track with what is true. And what is interesting, I feel some kind of pressure above my crown chakra. And I can feel energy entering it. I can feel energy entering, moving my spine. I can also feel my kundalini rising from below and then the meeting point in the heart. But this is something I never experienced before. It's like a, I don't know. Pressure. So there's a desire to speak freely. And even with my eyes closed, that I can just allow whatever is wanting to be said in an unfiltered way. Not filtering through the life experience, just letting it express the way it wants to express. Which is one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned, and I came here to learn in this lifetime, to just express myself exactly the way I want to express. And it's still a bit of a pitfall sometimes. The social circumstances are not always available for me to be free and wild in a safe way. But do we need to be safe? I think we do. I think we do need to feel safe in order to bring forward the real expression of the heart, the most fruitful expression of the heart, and the most open. So I was talking about identity as a vessel or a tool for expansion. And that we can rewrite our own identity in order for it to fit a version of self that can bring through and access different energies and frequencies. And that is also what the spiritual game is about. Have you ever wondered why there is seemingly a million different ways of getting into spirituality? It is because each and every single person has a unique imprint for their identity to bring that forward. And in some way, it is just the same process happening in every single person. It's just the process of life knowing itself, the process of life becoming more alive and more aware and more conscious of what it actually is. And that is just my description of it. So you have to figure out for yourself in your own experience what that actually means. And each person who is genuine about figuring out what that means, their identity becomes a tool for expansion of consciousness. Their vessel becomes an own unique blueprint for expanding consciousness and for discovering what consciousness actually is. Discovering and expressing it. In the expression of it, the embodiment of it, we're able to somehow shine forth a little bit of what it is that we're experiencing, of that exploration, but it is not complete. Because the one who receives it, they must access it in their own experience, not merely through the words, not merely through the idea or the mental recognition of what it is that is being said. And we can let that happen. We can let that exploration of meaning and understanding happen by embodying it ourselves. That is kind of the only way to access what spirituality is about. So in some way, it's the most senseless thing to do to be speaking about it. And I don't pretend that I know everything. But I do know that I have the ability to open myself up for something, and that I suddenly become a different something when I do that. Suddenly, my vessel, my identity becomes a tool for the exploration of consciousness in whichever direction it feels it wants to go. And that direction it wants to go in feels like me deciding, but in fact, it is just a frequency moving through me, happening. And if I let it move through me, then it keeps on happening and keeps on going in a new direction, and we're always ever expanding. And it never stops. It never stops changing. And it is vibrant, and it is alive, and it is fun, and it is enjoyable to let yourself be in that state. But we must clear our vessel, clear our channel, and clear our expression in order for that to happen in a full way. And at the same time, it is about not monitoring what is happening. Because as soon as we start monitoring that type of consciousness, it kind of shies away. So you have to let it be just the way it wants to be. And we don't need confirmation. We should stop seeking confirmation that it is there. And just allow it to be spoken, expressed. And it is beneficial to this world that we all start doing this. It is very beneficial that we all start expressing our true nature. Achwys tich gwria da chimbayo. Shawihrid lelegeo sembe chambadeya au ze shembich diredeya se choadai ka amba. Zoej de geo chrito sembata chambeya alegeo se jimba. Deo ratachrinda geo se shembederite chelele. Beo banda charatukai shambach oa. Weo saya shim tigete yeah. We can just surrender and relax and open up to the voice, open up to the transmission that is always happening through you and between us in our lives. And there is no need to seek confirmation, there is no need to anchor something in, because we already are a conduit of divinity always. That is the nature of life, that is the nature of this existence, and it could not be any otherwise. It could not be any otherwise that we are conduits of divinity. I am, you are a conduit of the creative source and the creative force, because literally everything is created by that creative force. And we just open the hearts to this knowing and to this understanding. And we receive that truth. And we let go of all of the trying, of all of the seeking, and all of the desiring, accepting in our hearts that we are already whole and pure and unlimited. And the heart is open to connecting to anyone in this field, to receive this honesty of transmission, of love, of expression within themselves, and make it come into expression in their own lives. For anyone seeing this, to find the wild child within themselves and access the joy of just trying something, of just being regular and unlimited at the same time. And of just expressing all the words that need not make sense to our minds, because there is a joy in letting the voice roll, and letting the heart speak, and letting the shoulders drop, and sitting back and just being whatever you want to be. And I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of you. And I'm proud of divinity for what it is creating, because it is a beautiful expression of life happening here. We shall die, we shall die, we shall die, and we don't need to cry about it. We shall all die someday. We shall all die someday. Someday we will all die, and I'm not afraid. Maybe I'm a little bit afraid of them. Relax. Take it easy. All love, right from the stars, we were all love, like we'd never been far. Hours, hours, I can devour, looking at my own self. People don't want to know, because it's, I don't know why, maybe confrontational that someone just enjoys themselves, being themselves, creating something totally random and senseless. I don't have to check in with anyone if I'm allowed to be doing this. I don't have to check in with myself even anymore. I can just be. I can just be me. I can just be weird. I can just be online. I can just be seen. I can just be visible. I can just be out there spilling my thoughts into the world, and I don't need to monitor. I don't need to monitor. I don't need to monetize. I don't need to fucking anything with this. It is just me being here happening. It's just a happening. I am just a happening. You are just a happening. And hopefully a happy one. A happy happening in life. You should affirm to yourself, every single thing I create is valuable. I can always be in bliss if I want to. I'm sick of creating something for someone else than myself. I'm fine, just the way I am, breathing, being, singing, potentially. Oh, yeah, yeah. Wow. This is me freeing myself from every limitation. I am here to reside in creation. There is no higher joy in my heart than to start and restart this song with a fart. I don't care how it is growing, flowing. I am the trees and the ocean and the seas. I open myself to the English of the whole wide universe, to be accessed and spoken through me. I wonder what to do with this day. So much time on my hands and nothing to do. Nowhere to go, nothing to chase, Nothing to change anymore about myself. I can just create and be free like an elf. I can wander in the forest. I can eat a banana. I can go to the park and stroll with a dog. It need not have any meaning or spiritual significance or content. It can just be me singing because that's what I want to do, and I don't care about anything else anymore. Let me just create what is true to my heart. Let me just express what was true from the start. I have no goals. I have only Devi. And the knowing that I'm always free. Maybe, baby, we want to work on that painting. Or maybe, baby, we just want to sing. What's it gonna be? Singing. Singing must come from the heart. Open the way. Open the way for your life to get insane. Release your expectations and open your brain for a stain of God. Open your mind, your heart, and your posture. For life wants to be what it is when it's free. Open your mouth to say what you think. Don't be afraid, they won't like it. Open the sky to the wide vision. Be patient and sit with yourself with precision. Be grateful and gracious at all times. There is nothing else, no truth to define. My heart, a jump, a big open light. Hey, your phone screen has broke. Why? How is that relevant? Because of my singing? You're welcome, baby. angry with myself. I'm angry and frustrated for thinking that my life is not going where it ought to be going. Frustrated that something could be wrong, that I'm sitting here trying something, but it's not happening. And at the same time, it's always happening. I can't avoid that it is happening. I'm thinking about my aunt, I'm thinking about cleaning the hallway, but there's nothing that I actually want to do except for being free. Free and liberated at all times. Free in my expression to be exactly as I am, wanting to be sexy, wanting to be joyful, wanting to be angry, wanting to be myself, changing form every single minute of the day. Ooh, 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 ooh. And if you can join me in that, I'm afraid I would get bored of you quite quickly. I am going to eat pasta today. I'm going to paint today. I'm going to be paid to exist today. Because that is what I've decided to create. And no, I'm not an actress. This is all real. This is all me. This is all actually how I feel. And you should try expressing how you feel sometimes. I have one more comment for you, dear YouTube watchers. All of you watching this live stream, I thank you. I'm happy. I'm grateful. Someone wants to watch. I'm here to be seen. I'm here to be watched. Yet, you should know that it is within your own power to create for yourself. And it might be interesting, maybe a little bit inspiring to see me creating for myself, for my own joy, for no reason whatsoever but the wish to create. But if you are wanting to create something, it ought to come from you, from your screen, not even necessarily on the screen. You can just sit in the sofa, read a book, even that is your creation if you start writing in the book. Scrapping pages or something. I don't know, just an interesting idea. But if you want to create, then you should do it yourself. You should be your own guide in whatever wants to be created through you. I am the master of creation, here to serve humanity in offering my own valuable, cherishable creation to you. And I intend to stand in my God being at all times and to create whatever it is that I wish to create. And this requires that I remain on the surface of my consciousness, on the peak of my limits, always pushing beyond what I intend, what I already know, what I have figured out. Because creation happens when we don't know where it is going, when we fully allow it to just roll and throw and stroll through us, even if we don't know which words are wanting to come. And someone is asking, how are you? I think you can see how I am, can't you? Can you see how I am? Can you see how I am today? This is how I am. Just this. And what you think of that is kind of more your choice than mine. I don't get to interpret what you think of me. I already know who I am. I already know what I am and how I am. It is ever changing. Ever changing. I am knowing myself as the ever changing creator. The creation. I am the creator, the creation, I don't know, both. A little bit of both. A little bit of both in one cup in my heart. And I wish for you to discover yourself as such. And now I'm going to paint, finally, because that's what I've always been wanting to do with this day. Where at all is my painting gear? It is all here. It is all here. It is all here. So we found our painting gear. Oh my god, yawning. I actually want to paint without you watching. For some reason, I don't want you to be watching. Not today. Today is for me. Today is for my love, for myself. And anyone who is watching, commenting, thinking their own thoughts of this and of me, they shall not be welcome. They shall not be welcome, yet they shall be welcomed. But this shall be for me and myself alone. And we shall enter into full creator mode, fully enjoying, knowing who we are, finding the greatest expression of all, ending up on this canvas. The most valuable, honorable, to be cherished expression ending up on this canvas because we don't doubt our creative capacity. I'm the creator, now and always. And this is what I wish to hear in this moment. And welcome from Antarctica. That is wild to have someone from Antarctica here. my creator mode. I'll put it here so you can also hear it.
Oké, Pippa. Dit is een channel voor iemand anders dan onszelf.
It will be in English soon.
Oké, Pippa. Dit is een channel message voor jou, for you. Om volledig te begrijpen waarom we hier zijn deze dagen aan het vasten, zonder iets te creëren voor iemand anders dan onszelf en dan God. Waarom dat we ons lichaam helemaal aan het purgen zijn en ons openstellen voor lichtliefde en de divine creation die aan het werk is in onze eigen wereld, in ons eigen proces en in ons leven. I can literally create anything I want. My creative power in my life works exactly the same.
Some water! I'm gonna get some water! Water! It's funny to think of the moments in which I don't feel like I am myself, and then the moments in which I know that I am myself. And that people could be watching this, seeing me being both myself and then stepping out of myself. And maybe that doesn't even make sense to you that I'm saying that, but to me it does, so whatever. That is exactly it. It doesn't need to make sense to anyone else. That is where the true wisdom lies. Once it stops making sense to anyone else but yourself, but me. So let me talk to myself and let me talk myself through this, because it need not make sense to anyone else but me. It need not be liked by anyone else but me. It is just me and my painting. And you guys watching, and I'm gonna completely ignore that thought. Oh. Out of blue. Out of the blue. We need to get our hair out of the way. And we need to feel the heart. We cannot actually paint. We cannot actually paint. We're not in the heart space, in the honesty of feeling. I like this. It's cute.
as in an artistic process or in my imagination. If I decide that it is so, then it is, because I am the creator. I was born as a free being, and I shall continue to be one. There is no good and bad in this universe. There is only my freedom and my decision, and I choose to live a life of love, fulfillment, joy, and limitless freedom, recognizing that I am the creator. I pull all of my energy back into self. I don't chase, I attract. And I pour all of my love into me and my queendom. I commit to my queendom effortlessly because I know it's the only thing to do. My only job is to be myself. I'm the perfect answer to each and every situation, always. I am pure love, and I radiate love into the field because I do it all for myself and my own joy. So that way it is truly beyond me and fully magical. And I receive all of the natural consequences of my own creative magic, the abundance, the joy, the true connection, the authentic lifestyle that fits to me, that suits me with luxury, ease, and pleasant circumstances for joy, relaxation, connection, and abundance. After all, my life is my own creation. I open my heart to my highest self and to the light of the sun to flow into me at all times, to find the trust that my life is my own creation. All other convictions are being released from the body and gone. They don't matter anymore. I don't have time for them. I already am in my queendom, not in pursuit of anything but my own joy, my own relaxation, my own pleasure, and my own creative flow. I get to decide my thoughts and what I want to bring forth in this life. I can literally create everything I want. When there is resistance to creation within me, I just let that experience move through me. It is a frequency, not a block. It is just an experience that indicates something from the past, and I shall let it move through me, and it is gone. I have no worries that it shall impact my creation, because it is anyway not of my creative force and stream. I'm fully tapped into my creative stream, fully tapped into my joy. I don't need to force anything. I can just let myself be and recognize that in my freedom of being, I am already the creator. Everything in my life is in my own hand. I completely surrender to my life circumstances and to how the universe wants to serve me every desire within. But I'm aware that I get to choose my own joy, that I get to choose my own queendom, my confidence, and the recognition that I'm a pearl, a spiritual royalty, always in a channeling state, always in response to life in a way that serves the divine power in each and everything that surrounds me. Always in love towards myself, always in patience, restfulness, centeredness, and magnetism. Always in perfect beauty. Always in joy and in love towards my body, which is strong, healing, revealing freedom and ultimate powers. A conduit for my divine creation, which I admire, which I love, and which I care for. by always making the happy choice. I need not hold anything back or occupy myself with what already exists, because I'm here to create that which is of absolute and fresh-born purity. It need not make sense, and it cannot even be explained. It is life without name. It is true and sparkling, unlimited abundance. Everything I create is of this nature, unlisted. It remains dear to my heart. And I remain a clear channel while I let these experiences move through me into creation.
Okay, phone can't charge. Be like this. I guess we'll just die whenever we're dead. It need not be. Rest is for tomorrow.